Ernest Miller Hemingway, July 21, 1899, July 2, 1961, was an American novelist, short story writer, and journalist. His distinctive writing style is characterized by concise minimalism and understatement and has had an important influence on the development of 20th century fiction. Hemingway protagonists are typically stoic, often seen as projections of their own character, people who must exhibit grace under pressure. Hemingway was part of a community of expatriates in 1920 in Paris, as depicted in his novel A Movable Feast. Hemingway was awarded the Pulitzer Prize in 1953 for The Old Man and the Sea. He received the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1954. Although he says that he would be happier, if the gift was given to the beautiful author Isak Dinesen. Ernest Hemingway was born on July 21, 1899 in Oak Park, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. Hemingway was the first son and second of 6 children born to Clarence Edmonds, Dr. Ed, and Grace Hall Hemingway. Hemingway's father, a doctor, witnessed Ernest's birth and then blew a chrysanthemum on his front porch to announce to his neighbors that his wife had given birth to a baby boy. The Hemingways lived in a 6-bedroom Victorian house, built by Ernest's widowed maternal grandmother, Ernest Hall, a British immigrant and Civil War veteran who lived with the family. Hemingway's name was given after his grandmother's name. He was a dominant and a devout and narrow-minded man, which characterized the strict Protestant ethic of Oak Park, which Hemingway later described as having a broad yard and a narrow mind. His mother wanted to give birth to twins, and when that didn't happen, she dressed little Ernest and his sister Marceline, 18 months his senior, in the same clothes and hairstyle, pretending that the children were twins. Grace Hemingway went so far as to treat her daughter more femininely in her teens by calling her Ernestina. Although this has been disputed by many biographers, especially Kenneth S. While his mother hoped that his son would develop an interest in music, Hemingway inherited his father's active interest in outdoor activities, namely hunting and fishing in the forests and lakes of northern Michigan. These early experiences in close contact with nature later instilled in Hemingway a deep and lifelong love of outdoor adventure and life in places in the world that are generally considered remote or isolated. Hemingway attended Oak Park and River Forest High School, and there he did well both academically and athletically. Hemingway boxed and played rugby, and showed an extraordinary talent for English literature. He began his writing career as a young reporter for the Kansas City Star, 1917. Although he worked for the paper for only 6 months, throughout his life he used the guidelines of Star's writing style as the basis for his writing style. Hemingway left his job as a reporter after only a few months, and, against his father's will, he attempted to join the United States Army to witness action in World War I. It is said that he failed the medical exam because of his poor eyesight. There is no record of this, and so he joined the Red Cross Ambulance Corps, leaving for Italy. On the way to the Italian front, he stopped in Paris, which at that time was constantly being bombed by German artillery. Instead of staying in the relative safety of the Hotel Florida, Hemingway tried to get as close to the battlefield as possible. Soon after arriving on the Italian front, he witnessed the brutality of the war. On his first day of duty, an ammunition factory near Milano exploded. Hemingway had to pick up human remains, mostly women who worked in the factory. On the Italian front on July 8, 1918, Hemingway was injured while delivering supplies to the army, ending his career as an ambulance driver. The exact details of this attack are disputed. But Hemingway must have been hit by shrapnel from an Austrian trench mortar that had left pieces in his legs, and by a barrage of machine gun fire. He was therefore awarded the Silver Medal, Medaglia d'Argento, from the government for, while injured, he dragged an injured Italian soldier to safety. After this experience, Hemingway was admitted to a Milano hospital run by the American Red Cross. There wasn't much to do in the hospital for entertainment. Hemingway often drank and read the newspaper to pass the time. Hemingway fell in love with Sister Agnes, who was more than 6 years his senior, but their relationship did not continue. After she returned to the United States, Sister Agnes fell in love and married another man. These events inspired and later made fiction in one of Hemingway's first novels, A Farewell to Arms. After the World War, Hemingway returned to Oak Park, feeling expelled from the United States in part because of the liquor ban. In 1920 he accepted a job in Toronto, Ontario on the Toronto Star. He worked there as a freelance writer, staff writer, and foreign correspondent. It was in Toronto that Hemingway befriended fellow Star reporter Morley Callahan. Callahan had started composing short stories by this time and showing them to Hemingway, who praised them as beautiful. Ernest lived near upstate Chicago, 1920 to 1921, worked for a small newspaper. In 1921, Hemingway married his first wife, Hadley Richardson. In September, he moved into a cramped fourth-floor apartment at 1239 North Dearborn near seedy upstate Chicago. The building still stands today with a plaque in front of it that reads Hemingway Apartments. Hadley found the apartment dark and unsettling and, partly for this reason, the Hemingways decided to live abroad for a while. In December 1921, Hemingway left Chicago and Oak Park for good. After Hemingway's return to Paris, Anderson gave him a letter of introduction to Gertrude Stein. Stein became his mentor and introduced him to the modern Paris movement then taking place in the Montparnasse region. Hemingway later recalled the group and said, "Half the time Ezra is right, and if he is wrong, he is so wrong that we have no doubts about it. Gertrude is always right." Hemingway used his Toronto-based friends to smuggle the novels into the United States. Hemingway's own first book, entitled 3 Stories and 10 Poems, 1923, published in Paris by Robert McCalman. That same year, when he briefly returned to Toronto, Hemingway's first son was born. Hemingway asked Gertrude Stein to be John's godmother, because he was busy raising his family. Hemingway grew tired of the Toronto Star and resigned on January 1,